styles, everyday finds, one place. Welcome to Shack Shop, your go-to online store for women's fashion and must-have essentials. From trendy outfits to lifestyle items you didn't know you needed, it's all here. Easy shopping, great prices, new arrivals dropping often. Shop smarter. Shop Shack Shop. Visit us online today.
Minneapolis was once again thrust into the national spotlight after violent confrontations erupted between demonstrators and federal law enforcement following a fatal Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) shooting earlier this month. The unrest intensified further after a second ICE-involved shooting occurred during an arrest attempt, escalating tensions already simmering over immigration enforcement and federal authority. As fires burned, fireworks exploded near law enforcement lines, and tear gas filled city streets, one of Minnesota's most powerful political figures issued a dramatic demand. Governor Tim Walz should resign immediately. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, the third-ranking Republican in the U.S. House of Representatives and the highest-ranking Minnesotan in Congress, said the governor's leadership failure has directly contributed to the chaos unfolding in the state's largest city. In a sharply worded statement released Thursday, Emmer condemned what he described as widespread destruction, lawlessness, and a breakdown of public order. The scenes playing out in Minneapolis are unacceptable and deeply disturbing, Emmer said. Violence against law enforcement and destruction of property cannot be tolerated in a civilized society. Governor Tim Walz should resign effective immediately. Minnesotans deserve leadership that prioritizes safety. Emmer accused state leadership of emboldening unrest by refusing to confront extremist agitators and by adopting policies that undermine cooperation with federal authorities. The immediate catalyst for the unrest was the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good during an ICE operation earlier this month. According to federal officials, the incident occurred after agents attempted to carry out immigration enforcement activity and encountered resistance. Republican lawmakers and federal officials argue the ICE agent involved fired in self-defense after Good allegedly struck him with her vehicle while attempting to flee. They point to evidence suggesting agents had repeatedly ordered individuals to disperse before the shooting occurred. Democrats and progressive activists, however, have painted a dramatically different picture, accusing federal agents of reckless conduct and excessive force. They claim video footage shows Good attempting to comply with commands when shots were fired. Tensions escalated even further after another ICE agent reportedly shot an undocumented immigrant in the leg during a separate arrest attempt days later. Although the individual survived, the incident intensified outrage among activists and protest organizers, who quickly mobilized mass demonstrations. Crowds flooded downtown Minneapolis, blocking streets, surrounding federal vehicles, and attempting to obstruct enforcement operations. Protesters used horns, whistles, and megaphones to create noise intended to disorient agents, while some demonstrators allegedly vandalized property and hurled objects at officers. Federal authorities responded with crowd control measures, including tear gas and pepper ball munitions, in an effort to disperse increasingly volatile gatherings. Emmer did not mince words when assigning blame, arguing that Minnesota's sanctuary-style policies and state-level resistance to federal immigration enforcement created the conditions for violence. Our state leadership's refusal to uphold the rule of law has failed Minnesotans and endangered law enforcement. These policies sent a message that federal officers are not welcome and that obstruction would be tolerated. He also criticized Governor Walz for what he described as inflammatory rhetoric that further polarized an already divided public. Governor Tim Walz addressed the unrest during a public speech Wednesday evening, framing the violence as the result of aggressive federal actions under President Donald Trump's administration. Walz claimed federal immigration enforcement was being deliberately intensified in states and communities perceived as politically hostile to Trump. The federal government is raining down chaos on our neighborhoods, Walz said. The president has openly promised retribution, and Minnesotans are feeling the consequences. He accused Trump of weaponizing immigration enforcement for political purposes, and warned that conditions could worsen if federal operations continue at their current pace. As Minneapolis burned, political reactions hardened along predictable partisan lines. Republicans emphasized the dangers faced by federal agents and warned that failing to enforce immigration laws undermines national sovereignty. Democrats countered that aggressive ICE tactics erode trust in law enforcement and disproportionately impact immigrant communities. The debate has expanded beyond Minnesota, reigniting national arguments over sanctuary jurisdictions, federal authority, and the role of states in immigration enforcement. For many Americans, the scenes unfolding in Minneapolis evoke memories of past unrest that devastated neighborhoods and left lasting scars on the city's economy and public safety infrastructure. Critics argue that repeated episodes of unrest signal deeper governance failures, while supporters of the protest insist they reflect legitimate grievances against federal overreach. What remains undeniable is that Minneapolis once again finds itself at the center of a national reckoning over law enforcement, immigration, and political leadership. Legal scholars note that immigration enforcement is constitutionally a federal responsibility, but states often influence how or whether local authorities cooperate with federal agents. The conflict in Minnesota highlights the friction that arises when state leaders oppose federal policy, while federal agents continue operations regardless. Whether Governor Walz's approach de-escalates tensions or deepens the divide remains an open question. As demonstrations continue and investigations into both shootings proceed, calls for accountability are growing, not only for the ICE agents involved, but for political leaders on all sides. Emmer's demand for Walz's resignation is unlikely to succeed politically, but it underscores the intensity of Republican frustration and the broader national implications of the crisis. Federal investigations into both shooting incidents are ongoing. ICE officials have stated that agents acted within policy, but reviews remain active. Meanwhile, Minneapolis braces for additional protests, and state and federal officials remain locked in a tense standoff over responsibility, authority, and public safety. Whether this moment becomes a turning point, or simply another chapter in America's ongoing political turmoil, remains to be seen.